Normally, when watching movies we don't need subtitles for sounds like rustling leaves, or subtitles to detect approaching vehicles before crossing the street. Yet, significant hearing impairment is perhaps more prevalent than assumed. In 2017, the World Health Organization disclosed that 360 million individuals, representing 5% of the global populace, suffer from severe hearing loss, with children constituting 32 million of this group. Hearing degradation is a common consequence of aging, impacting 1/3 of the global population over 65 with severe hearing loss. The WHO further indicates that hearing loss can be both innate and acquired over time. An estimated 1.1 billion youths are at risk of hearing damage due to the high volume levels in their surroundings. In today's episode of Infographics World, titled, Loudest Things a Person Can Hear, we'll delve into various sounds. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon to join our notification squad. Let's delve deeper into the perception of faint sounds. Measured in decibels, softer noises include gentle rain or leaf rustling, typically ranging between 30 to 50 decibels. Even the descent of a rustling leaf produces a sound, approximately 10 decibels, yet it's often imperceptible. Attentive listening might reveal the buzz of a light bulb, which hovers around 15 decibels. A whisper registers at about 40 decibels, while regular speech hits around 60 decibels. The piercing sound of an ambulance or police siren, at about 125 decibels, is alarmingly loud and potentially harmful to the ears if endured for extended periods. This volume is comparable to the maximum scream or shout a human can produce, a sound too familiar to some mischievous children. According to Guinness Records, the loudest sports audience recorded was that of Kansas City Chiefs fans during a game against the Seattle Seahawks in 2014, reaching a staggering 142 decibels. It is believed that exposure to sounds around 140 decibels can cause ear pain, and prolonged exposure can result in permanent damage. Intense sounds exceeding 150 decibels have the potential to tear the eardrum if one is in close proximity. Now, let's explore some of the loudest sounds within human experience, starting with the extreme and progressing to everyday noises. Historical records suggest that the loudest sound ever heard during human history was the 1883 Krakatoa volcanic eruption, situated between Java and Sumatra in Indonesia. The catastrophe claimed over 35,000 lives, primarily due to the tsunamis it triggered. Remarkably, the eruption's impact was so vast that tidal fluctuations were noted as distant as the English Channel. Equally alarming was the sound produced by the eruption, reportedly intense enough to burst the eardrums of individuals 40 kilometers away. The noise was detectable as far as Perth, Western Australia, at a distance of 1,930 miles, 3,110 kilometers, with claims that it could be audible up to 3,000 miles, 4,800 kilometers, away. This is comparable to an event in London being audible in Nigeria. Reports indicate that within a 100-mile, 160 kilometers, radius, one would experience a succession of blasts at approximately 180 decibels, significantly increasing the risk of eardrum damage. Gun enthusiasts' websites note that this is substantially louder than the .44 Magnum revolver, one of the loudest firearms, which emits sound at about 164 decibels. Shifting focus from natural sounds, we examine the loudest noises produced by human activity. Tales from soldiers who have endured the proximity of bomb detonations reveal the immediate ear damage they can inflict, leading to chronic conditions like tinnitus for some veterans. Among these, the atomic bombs unleashed on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan are believed to have generated noise levels around 240 decibels. However, proximity to such blasts would likely result in fatality, rendering ear damage a minor concern. It's estimated that a 1-ton TNT bomb generates a sound intensity of about 210 decibels. On a smaller scale, hand grenades, which vary in type, are generally believed to have a lethal range of 2 to 3 meters and an injury radius exceeding 15 meters. Additionally, they produce a sound blast of about 180 decibels, which, according to U.S. military manuals, is sufficient to cause deafness, tinnitus, and inner ear disturbance. Turning to man-made sounds, rocket launches are notably loud. While it's impossible to be in close proximity during a launch, the sound can be overwhelming even from afar. NASA's Saturn V rocket holds the record for the loudest rocket, reaching an estimated 205 decibels, potentially more damaging to hearing than a bomb due to its prolonged noise emission. In the realm of sports vehicles, top fuel dragsters stand out as the loudest, with these high-speed vehicles capable of producing noise levels up to 160 decibels. Yet, dragsters pale in comparison to certain wildlife. Encountering a lion's roar up close, which can reach about 114 decibels, might be one of the most terrifying experiences, potentially being the last sound one hears in the wild. However, the two loudest animals reside in the ocean, surpassing the noise of a jet engine at just 100 feet, 140–150 decibels. The pistol shrimp, also known as the snapping shrimp, tops the list with its claw snap so forceful it propels water jets, forming bubbles that implode and emit a sound of roughly 200 decibels. While this sound wouldn't impact humans underwater, it's certainly a hazard for nearby shrimp. Following closely is the blue whale's whistle, reaching 188 decibels, audible to fellow whales up to 497 miles, 800 kilometers, away. What should we consider regarding the potential risks of everyday noise exposure? Gibson.com reports that the rock band Kiss holds the record for the loudest concert, hitting 136 decibels during their 2009 show in Ottawa, Canada. Close contenders in reaching similar levels of sound intensity are the electronic group Leftfield, the metal ensemble Manowar, and the iconic British bands Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple. It's common for musicians to suffer from hearing impairments and tinnitus, given that unlike other professions where ear protection is standard, rock artists may not consistently use earplugs. Occupations like airport ground staff, exposed to 140 decibels, Formula One racers, facing 135 decibels, and construction personnel, subjected to up to 120 decibels, mandate protective hearing measures. The volume in nightclubs can also soar, posing a risk to the hearing of both patrons and employees. While the average nightclub sound system operates at about 85 decibels, which is generally considered safe, some can escalate to 115 decibels. Individuals using personal audio devices typically listen at volumes around 85 decibels or lower, though certain devices can emit levels between 100 to 115 decibels, potentially leading to auditory damage after extended listening periods. For perspective, a chainsaw emits 110 decibels, and it's hardly advisable to endure such noise for hours. Vice magazine highlighted what it dubbed the world's loudest sound system, capable of producing noise intense enough to cause physical discomfort. This system, known as the Large European Acoustic Facility, isn't designed for music but rather generates sound to replicate the conditions a spacecraft would encounter, reaching up to 154 decibels. Now, we're curious about your experiences with loud sounds. Share your stories in the comments. Thank you for tuning in, and remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Until next time.